Deep in the heart of Maryland lies a forest that has witnessed centuries of unspeakable horrors. Legends of missing children, ritualistic murders, and a vengeful spirit have haunted the area for generations. But what if I told you the truth is even darker than you think? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see why the Blair Witch legend still lives. Our story begins in 1785 in a small, secluded town known as Blair, Maryland. This was a settlement on the edge of the unknown, surrounded by dense, foreboding woods that seemed to breathe with their own life. Among the townsfolk was Elly, an Irish immigrant who arrived with whispers of a troubled past. She was a healer, or so she claimed, using methods that many found strange and unsettling. But in a community bound by suspicion and fear, difference was a dangerous thing. When several children accused her of luring them into her home and drawing their blood, the town's fragile trust shattered. The townspeople, gripped by fear and a need to protect their own, branded her a witch. Her trial was swift and merciless. Found guilty of witchcraft, she was dragged into the heart of the Black Hills forest during the harshest winter in memory. There they tied her, left her to the elements, and turned their backs on her cries for mercy. But Blair's nightmare was only beginning. By the following year, a series of unexplainable events plunged the town into chaos. All of Elly's accusers, along with half of the town's children, disappeared without a trace. Parents searched the woods desperately, but no bodies were ever found. The fear was palpable, a shadow that grew darker with each passing day. Terrified and convinced they were cursed, the remaining residents abandoned Blair entirely, vowing never to utter her name again. The land lay silent for decades, but the Black Hills forest seemed to remember. In 1825, when the area was resettled and renamed Burkittsville, the horrors returned. During a community gathering, a young girl named Eileen Treacle vanished while playing near Tappy East Creek. Witnesses claimed they saw a pale hand emerge from the water and pull her under. For 13 days, the creek was clogged with bundles of oily sticks, and the water became undrinkable. Years later, in 1886, another tragedy struck. 8-year-old Robin Weaver wandered into the forest and vanished. Days later, she reappeared, trembling and incoherent, claiming she had been led to a house in the woods by a woman whose feet never touched the ground. A search party sent to find the mysterious house met a grisly fate. Their mutilated bodies were discovered on Coffin Rock, bound together in a grotesque display. When authorities returned to retrieve the bodies, they were gone, leaving only the blood-stained rock behind. By the 20th century, the forest's dark reputation had solidified. In 1940, Rustin Parr, a hermit living deep in the Black Hills, walked into town and confessed to a series of horrific murders. Over the course of months, he had abducted 8 children, killing 7 in his basement. His chilling method? He forced one child to stand in a corner while he murdered the other. Parr claimed he was acting under the orders of an old woman ghost who haunted the woods. He was executed for his crimes, but his house and the horrors within it became part of the legend. The Black Hills Forest has always been a place of mystery, but the events surrounding Elly Kedward, Eileen Treacle, Robin Weaver, and Rustin Parr seem connected by a thread of malevolence, a thread that many believe leads back to the Blair Witch. But what really happened in Blair, and why does the legend persist, growing darker with each retelling? This is the story that drew 3 filmmakers into the forest, seeking to uncover the truth. In 1994, 3 college students, Heather Donahue, Josh Leonard, and Mike Williams, arrived in Burkittsville, Maryland, with a singular goal: film a documentary to uncover the truth behind the legend of the Blair Witch. Armed with cameras and curiosity, they began their investigation by speaking with locals. Stories emerged of eerie and tragic events tied to the town's dark history. They learned about the mysterious death of Eileen Treacle, the gruesome murders at Coffin Rock, and the horrifying actions of Rustin Parr. Among those they interviewed was Mary Brown, an eccentric older woman who claimed she had seen the Blair Witch herself near Tappy East Creek. According to her, the witch appeared as a grotesque, half-human, half-animal creature covered in matted hair. After gathering what they could in Burkittsville, the group ventured into the foreboding Black Hills Forest to document the infamous locations tied to the legend. They were never seen again. When the students failed to return, an APB was issued, and a massive search effort was launched. For 10 days, search teams scoured the Black Hills Forest, employing dogs, helicopters, and dozens of volunteers. Yet, aside from their abandoned vehicle, no trace of the 3 students was found. With no leads and no evidence, the case eventually went cold. Then in October 1995, a shocking discovery reignited interest in their disappearance. During an excavation at a colonial-era house deep in the Black Hills, University of Maryland students uncovered a duffel bag. Inside were the missing students' filming equipment, a collection of tapes, and Heather's personal journal. What was uncovered in those tapes is nothing short of unreal. As they ventured deeper into the Black Hills Forest, strange signs began to appear. It started with stick figures, crude and primitive, hanging from trees in unnatural arrangements. Were they warnings? Or perhaps traps meant to lure them further into the woods? Each one seemed to radiate an ominous energy, as though placed by something that was always watching. Then came the piles of rocks. At first glance, they seemed random, the kind of thing one might find in any forest. But their sudden appearances, perfectly arranged cairns that hadn't been there moments before, told a different story. They began to suspect they were being followed, their every step shadowed by an unseen presence. Nights brought strange sounds, branches snapping, distant whispers, and faint laughter that seemed to echo from nowhere. Sleep became impossible. Paranoia took hold. Was it just the isolation playing tricks on their minds? Or was there truly something out there, something ancient and malevolent? As their supplies dwindled and their sense of direction vanished, they found themselves circling back to the same locations, no matter how far they walked. It was as though the forest itself was alive, twisting and turning to trap them. And always there were more symbols, runic carvings on trees, small handprints in the dirt, and those relentless stick figures. One morning, they awoke to find one of their own missing, Joshua. His belongings were still there, but he was gone. No footprints, no signs of a struggle, just an empty sleeping bag and silence. The turning point came when they stumbled upon something far more disturbing than stick figures or rock piles. In a small clearing, they found pieces of clothing, ripped, dirty, and unmistakably human. They were Joshua's. Then bones, arranged in patterns that defied explanation. The realization hit them like a cold wind. They were not alone. The remaining 2 pushed forward, desperate to escape, but the forest had other plans. And then came the final night. Guided by distant cries, they found an abandoned house in the heart of the woods. Its walls were covered in small handprints, its air thick with decay. Inside, they found evidence of unspeakable acts, bloodstains, carvings, and in the basement. This is where the trail ends. The final moments show Mike standing in a corner, silent and unmoving, as Heather's screams fill the air, just like what happened with Rustin Parr's victims. And then, nothing. No sign of them was ever found. Only their story remains, haunting those who dare to ask what truly happened in the Black Hills Forest. But what really happened in that house? Who or what was responsible for the terror they endured? Stay with us, because the truth is more shocking than you could ever imagine. In 1999, the Blair Witch Project took the world by storm, redefining the horror genre and bringing the mostly niche, found footage style of filmmaking into the mainstream. Created by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez, the film presented a narrative so compelling and immersive that it blurred the lines between fact and fiction. Myrick and Sanchez built an intricate backstory for the Blair Witch, weaving together fabricated historical documents, fictional news reports, and even a dedicated website that presented the legend as real. The disappearance of the 3 documentary filmmakers, Heather Donahue, Josh Leonard, and Mike Williams, was a central part of the project, marketed as an actual event to further convince audiences of its authenticity. The actors were kept in the dark about key moments during filming, ensuring their fear and reactions felt raw and genuine. This method added an unprecedented level of realism to the film, making it feel more like a recovered artifact than a scripted production. When the movie was released, many viewers believed they were watching real footage, and the filmmakers leaned into this perception, using missing posters and carefully crafted promotional materials to enhance the illusion. The result was a cultural phenomenon. Audiences left theaters genuinely unsettled, questioning the reality of what they had seen. Even after the truth behind the production was revealed, that the entire Blair Witch legend was a fictional creation of Myrick and Sanchez, the myth endured. The film's impact cemented the Blair Witch as a modern-day urban legend, proving that the power of storytelling can make fiction feel hauntingly real. So is the Blair Witch real? The answer is no, but the fear it inspired, that's as real as it gets. What do you believe? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to dive deeper into stories like this, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.